What's up, y'all? Alvin here, and here's 5 different ways to get on the water faster and stop wasting time.
I tell the good jokes.
Okay, so you got a limited amount of time to fish and you want to maximize every minute. Here's 5 different ways that you can get on the water faster and stop wasting time. Okay, so number 1, this is something I do all the time, and that is to rig your rods the day before. Especially if you have a rod rack, some type of place to store your rods fully rigged, or if you have an SUV, I've just stuck them inside of my 4Runner for years with no problems. I rig the rods up, I put the leaders on, I put the flies on that I want to fish with, I make sure that everything is ready to go, stick the rods in the truck, and I don't have to think about that when I get to the river. And the thing is you can take your time when you're at home, so you don't have to worry about missing a guide, and then you make your first cast and look up and you gotta cut your fly off and re-rig the whole thing. You don't have to worry about putting your reels on the ground in the mud or the sand or whatever. You're in a nice, clean, contained, comfortable environment where you can take your time, you can check your knots, you can check your leaders, you can just make sure that everything is set up properly. And that way, when you get on the water, all you got to do is grab your rod and go. All right. Number 2, this is something I've done for a while, and it does require a little bit more gear, so you need to buy something extra to make this happen. But the thing is, I like to separate my equipment by species. So I carry my bass gear in one box and my saltwater gear in another box and my trout gear in a third box. And I have acquired quite a bit of gear over the years, so it's actually much easier to separate this stuff out. And then that way, when I go fishing, I don't have to try to remember, oh, did I put the clippers in that box? Am I gonna have, all the tippet spools I need? I like to have separate gear setups for the different types of fishing that I'm gonna do. Over the years, you're gonna just acquire more gear anyway, and I'm not suggesting you need to go out and buy a bunch of new gear just to do this, but it's gonna happen naturally over the years, especially if you do different types of fishing. So I don't trout fish nearly as much as I used to, so my main forceps and nippers are going to be in my saltwater and my bass stuff, and then just the old ones that I don't use as often are going to be in my trout gear. Makes it so much faster though, because if I'm going to go fishing the next day, I can just pick up my bass box, throw that in the car, and I know I got everything I need, and I can just head out, and that saves me a ton of time. All right, so hopefully this video so far is helping you out, and if you want to help me out, there's a couple of super simple things you can do. One is to subscribe to this YouTube channel. The other is to subscribe to my email list. There's a link in the description to that. That really helps me out because that way I can keep touch with you. These social media platforms come and go. YouTube could disappear tomorrow, but if I have your email, I can keep in touch with you. I've got folks who have been on my email list going on 20 years now. So if you want to have a long-term relationship with me, sign up to that email list. All right, thanks. Let's move on. Okay, so this is for the people who have boats. If you have a boat, there's a lot of maintenance, there's a lot of stuff required to deal with the boat, and I would suggest prepping everything that you can on the boat the night before. I will even back my truck up and hook the boat up and make sure it's ready to go, make sure the lights are working, make sure that I have all my life jackets in the boat. Just make sure the boat is ready to go so that I don't have to even think about that the next morning. All I do is hop in my truck, my rods, my gear, my boat, everything's hooked up, and then I just drive away after I make my coffee, of course. So prep your boat. Check the lights. That is one of the worst things, is to wake up in the morning, you got everything ready, you're gonna head out and fish, you hook your boat up, you turn the lights on, and nothing happens. I've completely rewired a trailer in the morning before going fishing. Had I done it the night before, I wouldn't have to do that. So yes, prep your boat before you go. If it's not too hot, I'll even put ice in the ice chest the night before. All right, number 4. Now, this could also apply to you boat owners, and you folks who don't have boats, this is probably what you're gonna do anyway, but go wade fishing. Wade fishing is so much simpler, so much easier than being in any type of boat, whether it's a raft, a canoe, a kayak, a jet boat, a flat skiff. If you really want to maximize your time on the water, find somewhere that you can go and just hop in and wade fish. All you got to do is park your vehicle, hop out, grab your gear, and start walking, and you could be fishing within a matter of minutes. If you don't wade fish very often, and you want to maximize your fishing time, I would suggest thinking about doing some wade fishing. All right. Okay, so this is tip number 5. And this one is one that's, you know, seems pretty obvious, but in a lot of ways it's not. And that is to find somewhere closer to where you live to fish. I mean, if you don't have to drive as far, or maybe you don't even have to drive at all, I found a place that I could walk to from my house and catch bass. Link to the video right there. Doing a little research, you may find there's several places that are closer. You may be driving past good fishing water to get to the place that you really want to go. And if you're short on time, the closest place that you can wet a line is probably the best place to go. You know, it may not be the best fishing, but we're talking about just maximizing time on the water. So do a little Google search, find a body of water. There may be fish in it. Usually we say here in Texas, if there's a body of water that doesn't dry up during the summertime, there's probably fish in it. All right, hope that helps. Hope that maximizes your time on the water. I want to thank you for watching the video. Hopefully I will see you in the next video. In the meantime, good luck on the water. And if you want a few more tips to make your fishing day more successful, check out this video right here.